Abraham from Indian High School. I'm the principal of boys section. During the first 3 cycles of inspection, we were rated good first 2 times and third time outstanding. But all along, the attainment and progress in science was rated as outstanding. And we would like to share one of the best practices which KSD has identified with us in the field of science with you today. We follow the CBSE syllabus where for grades 9 and 10, they recommend the structured inquiry, and for grades 11 and 12, they recommend the student-initiated inquiry, where they run the investigatory projects. There was no room for guided inquiry, which is actually needed in the middle school stage, which they call here as the upper primary and lower secondary. So, in high school, after reading the quality indicators, started this initiative of interactive science lab. Today, the real practitioners of this, Salina, Jalaja, Preeti, Vinita, and Sarita, they will share what they have been doing in the school, which took the school to this heights. Thank you. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Salina Jayaprakash from the Indian High School. Today I'll be speaking to you on the topic how we implement practical science with minimal resources. I'll begin with the words of philosopher of science Karl Popper. Scientific knowledge consists of the search for truth. It is not the search for certainty, and all human knowledge is fallible and therefore uncertain. This means that scientific knowledge can be falsified if new evidence is presented. So for any hypothesis to have credence, it must be inherently disprovable before it can be accepted as a scientific hypothesis or as a scientific theory. Now, in any scientific inquiry method, the first step of the inquiry is the hypothesis. Predictions are deduced from the hypothesis, observations are made, and with the help of observations, the predictions are tested, and the results are induced into the hypothesis if any changes are required. Now, a theory or a hypothesis is supported if its prediction is confirmed and will be challenged if the prediction is proved to be false. So in simple terms, a question is formulated on the basis of any topic of investigation. Data is collected to test the hypothesis, and from the evidence obtained, a conclusion is arrived at. And if the conclusion and evidence supports the hypothesis, a new question can be formulated to go in depth into the topic. So what is prediction? Now, prediction is a quantitative statement forecasting what will happen under certain specific conditions. Now, prediction is a very important tool which has to be practiced by students of the school. Now, prediction is not only used in science, it's used in other areas like business, stock markets. It's used in today in fiction literature. It's used in politics, everywhere. But accurate predictions are not possible in some areas like weather forecasting, meteorology, demography, etc. Now here is an example of a prediction, of an inaccurate prediction by NASA. Now these are 2 predictions by NASA in 2004 and 2007. Now in the first prediction, NASA predicted that this is solar cycle prediction of NASA. The new solar cycle would begin in 2007 and would be larger than the previous solar cycle 23. But actually, it was proved inaccurate, and the solar cycle started only in 2010. And this is the new prediction of NASA, which says that the new solar cycle 24 would be smaller than the previous cycle 23. Hence, the outcome of a prediction is a very important skill. And in order that it has to be enhanced in students, the aim of an experiment should not be revealed initially. And also the scope of the investigation would be narrowed if the activity is highly directed. At the upper primary level, in order to improve these skills, this prediction skills and other skills of students, the Interactive Science Center was set up at the Indian School for the upper primary level students. Now at the upper primary level students, we encourage guided inquiry method, whereas in the senior secondary level, we encourage student initiated inquiry method. Now, during our curriculum planning and review sessions at our school, the various teaching, learning and assessment techniques are selected based on the quality indicators of the DSIB. Then a horizontal and vertical integration of these activities, as the classroom activities, the lab activities are conducted to improve these skills, that is scientific, mathematical and literary skills in the students. It is indeed a big challenge for us to plan activities for 3,000 students belonging to two different cohorts, that is grades 5 and 6 and grades 7 and 8, which is in fact a number which exceeds the strength of many schools in Dubai. So the subject of today's presentation, how we implement practical science with minimum resources, should be viewed in that context. Now a quick look at Area 3 quality indicators of the DSIB manual on teaching, learning and assessment. Area 3.1 of the DSIB manual explains the key aspects of teaching for effective learning. The key words are the teacher's knowledge of their subjects and how they manage time and use resources in the lessons, and teaching, how much teaching promotes critical thinking and independent learning in students. Now, the quality of teaching will be evaluated as outstanding in these cases. These are the quotes from the DSIB manual. Now, how resources are used to maximum effect, how much teaching promotes active learning, how students take responsibility for their learning, the collaborative and independent learning, how much teachers promote collaborative and independent learning, and is ample time given for reflection to students. Now, Area 3.2 of the DSIB manual explains the key aspects of quality of students' learning. Now, the key words are their engagement in and their, how they take responsibility for their own learning, their interactions and their collaborations, and how they apply learning to the real world, and inquiry, research and critical thinking skills of the students. Now, the quality of learning will be evaluated as outstanding in these cases. When students are eager participants in their learning, they show increasing skills as learners. They are able to analyze learning situation in order to discover the best solutions. Area 3.3 of the DSIB manual explains the key aspects of assessment. They are the teacher's knowledge of their students' strengths and weaknesses, and the effectiveness of oral and written feedback to students, and how assessment can influence teaching, the curriculum and support for students. Now, inspired by these key aspects of section 3.1, 3.2 and 3.3, the Interactive Science Center was set up at the Indian School for the upper primary level students. I spoke to you a little while ago about the challenge of our resources and its implications on our resources. So let me tell you a little about how this works. Now, each class at this level go to the Interactive Science Center 3 times, where they perform 2 activities in a period of 45 minutes. Now, as each class has a strength of around 32 students, they are divided in 2 groups, where one of the groups go to the Interactive Science Center and the other goes to the Learning Square. Now, this is done to provide more room for students at the lab. Now, the session starts at the Interactive Center with the teacher or a student linking the previously taught theory to practical applications in life. Then the teacher and the lead student demonstrate the initial part of the experiment. Thereafter they are encouraged to predict the outcome of the experiment, and then they perform the activity, they make observations, they record these observations, and then they come to a conclusion. They self-evaluate if they have been able to, if they were successful in their predictions, and then they complete the worksheets provided to them. The teachers assess the worksheets and give written instructions for or suggestions for improvement. Now these worksheets are given back to the students when they come to the next lab activity. The other venue, the Learning Square, is a specially designed facility to facilitate independent and collaborative learning, and it is equipped with computers and research materials to improve or to encourage research and inquiry-based learning. So the other half of students who go to the Learning Square are engaged in independent research and inquiry-based collaborative learning, where they take complete responsibility for their learning. I'll request my colleagues to come, they'll present to you a video of a few activities performed at the Interactive Science Center of the school.
Can you see the light?
Yes, I can see the light.
Now please, can you see the light?
No, I'm not.
Now please, can you see the light?
Yes.
Now can you see the light?
No.
Now can you see the light?
Yes.
Now can you see the light, Tejas?
No, I cannot. Yes. Now I can see.
Yes, Tejas. Can you predict under what condition can you see the light?
This is a copy of the science activity worksheet which you already viewed in seminar session.
Tejas, we have to find out this.
Again, lead students demonstrating the second activity.
So let us
Remaining process.
This is also getting attracted from the map. So which is the real map? We again test it. This is also getting attracted. This is also getting attracted. But this is getting prepared.
To find out the real magnet from the items given to you. They are making predictions now. Doing collaborative work.
morning to you. Today in the Interactive Science Center.
Good afternoon everyone. I am Preeti from Indian High School. The forthcoming video is taken in the Interactive Science Center.
Today in the Interactive Science Center, we are going to do two activities. One is related to the electric circuit and the other one is regarding the conduction of heat, which we have already done in the theory classes. So we will start the first experiment that is related to electric circuit. Now can anybody tell me about the application of electric circuit in this particular room? Yeah.
Applications used in this lab are bulb, tube light, projector, etc.
Good.
Motivating question.
Now what is an electric circuit? Yeah.
An electric circuit is a closed figure in which current flows.
Which are the different materials used for making an electric circuit and how we are going to make an electric circuit? Yeah, who is going to do it? Yeah, Rita or Sarma?
The materials required to make an electric circuit is a source that is going to give off the electric current. In this case, it is the battery. This is the battery.
Students are explaining the
Then we need
materials
a
and how
light
to
that
make
is
an
going to
electric
use the
circuit.
electric current, which is the bulb. Then we are going to use connecting wires, which are made of copper and are covered with rubber.
Why is covered with rubber?
They are covered with rubber because rubber is a good insulator. Then we are going to need a switch which is going to be used to on and off the electric circuit.
Now we are going to make an electric circuit. So now we will connect the wire. And connect the other part to the other side, to the switch. Then the other the wire from the negative side of the battery to the bulb. Another connecting wire is connected from the switch to the other side of the battery. Now, this is the conductor which helps the light to flow. So the conductor, the negative side of the battery, positive side, and the switch. This is the electric circuit. And we close the bulb. The bulb is closed.
Very good. Why positive is to be connected to the negative?
The positive is to be connected to the negative and allows the current to flow through the wire circuit.
Right. Good.
I have three materials here, a block of wood, a glass block and a metal block. Now, can anybody predict what will happen if I place this glass block in between the circuit?
The light will not flow.
Can you tell me the reason?
As the glass is a bad conductor of heat.
Yes, that is
What
correct.
will I do if I put this metal block in between the circuit? Good.
What will happen if I place a wooden block in between the circuit?
Bulb will not flow because wood is an insulator.
The other children in the class are performing the activity.
With the second experiment regarding the conduction of
Start
heat.
the second
We have a
activity.
wooden stand with a clamp. This copper plate is fixed tightly to the wooden stand. We have iron pins stuck to the copper plate with wax and a spirit lamp. We are going to burn the spirit lamp. Which nail will fall first? The one near the flame or the one near the wooden stand?
Good afternoon. The clip you're going to watch was shot in the Science Center where 8S was performing an activity on reflection.
Good morning, students. Today we are going to do two activities in the Jayagir Science Center. First one is based on reflection that you've already learned in class, and the second one is based on pressure exerted by liquids. So for the first experiment, I want one student to perform it here. Who would like to do it? Okay, Raghu, you may come. Now tell me, what do you see when you look into the mirror?
When I look into the mirror, I see my reflection.
Okay, now suppose another child, a taller child, stands in front of you.
Now this reflection will cover my reflection.
Okay, now suppose a boy stands next to you.
And both our reflections will be seen in the mirror.
Now, based on this, we are going to perform an experiment.
The materials required are a mirror, a pencil, a ruler and a protractor, a sheet of paper, a soft board, then a few pins. And now I'm placing a sheet of paper on the soft board and I'm pinning the sides. Now I'm drawing a horizontal line on the sheet of paper. And I'm naming it as M and M hash. I'm using the protractor to draw a perpendicular line, the M hash. Now this is the normal and I'm naming it as ON. Now I'm drawing my line using the protractor at an angle of 45 degrees to the normal. I'm naming this as OI and this is the incident ray. This is the angle of incidence ION. Now I'm placing two pins P1 and P2 on the angle of on the incidence ray.
Now that you have the incident ray, can you find out the reflected ray?
Yes, ma'am. I'm placing a mirror on top of the horizontal line. And now when I look at the image of the two P pins P1 and P2, they are in one straight line. Now I place two another pins. I place the pins P3 and P4 in the line of the two pins P1 and P2 in such a way that the images of the pins P1 and P2 are hidden. Now I remove the pins, the two pins P3 and P4, and make a mark of the spots made by those two pins. Now I draw a straight line from these two pins P3 and P4, join at O, and I name this as OR. This is the angle of reflection, that is the angle RON, and this is the angle of incidence, that is angle ION.
Okay, now students, we have found out angle of reflection and angle of incidence. Now you need to tell a relation or find out a relation between these two angles. Now, can you prove it in some way? Students, you need to perform the same experiment with 30° and 40° as well.
Now, I measured ION and it is 45 degrees, and when I measured angle RON, it is 45 degrees. So my experiment proves that the angle of incidence is equal to the angle of reflection.
Good afternoon. Next we will finish about grade 5 students, how they perform that.
Good morning students. Today we are going to perform two activities in the Interactive Science Center. One is about the amount of oxygen that is present in the atmosphere, and second is about filtration. Children, can you tell me which is the most important gas that is necessary for our life? Yes.
Oxygen is the most important gas necessary for our life.
Why oxygen is important?
Oxygen is important because we need it for breathing and burning.
Can anyone come and perform the activity showing what fraction of air contains oxygen? Yes, both of you.
Friends, we know that air is a mixture of different gases. By performing one activity, we are going to estimate the amount of oxygen present in the air. Take a jar. Place the lighted candle in the jar.
Demonstration by the
Slowly pour colored water into the jar. Let's observe what happens to the water level from the image projected on the screen. Take a glass jar and place it over the candle upside down.
So then they will find out from that what part of the oxygen is present in the air. From that they will investigate. Class performance. Class performance.
from water. Now, by using filtration, we are going to investigate what type of substance can be separated from water. First, we should take a stand. Take a fidget paper and make a cone out of it.
Children get to participate in the leadership activities and whatever.
Every
Yes.
day they go thrice, and every time every period they have 2 activities. So there will be 6 activities in the first term and 6 in the second term.
One more thing I wanted to ask. The students are doing it. Before that, they go there, the teacher instruct them everything there. Teacher inform them like how.
So it is not fully revealed. If it is fully revealed to them,
How
there
do
will
the
be no
teacher
element
do
of.
it? If you just ask them to do research.
These activities are also covered in the curriculum.
Yeah, okay.
So, but there they do not demonstrate it in the class to show this one. Earlier, teachers used to carry these equipments to the class and demonstrate. But then the entire class would be crowded around one place and they won't be able to see. Now, we could have noticed that with the help of visualizer, what they are doing on the tabletop is projected on the screen. So everyone seated there are able to see that.
The teacher explains it in the class, in the theory class, then the student goes and the student then takes care of everything.
Yeah. So they try to perform it there and see that.
This
you
is
know,
where they agree to students take responsibility for their own learning. So they know that this is the activity which is going to come. They come prepared. Earlier in 9th and 10th, we have a list of experiments. The moment the curriculum is printed out, the guides come out. Name of the experiment, apparatus required, procedure, precautions, sources of error, and most of the time they spend in just copying this to their records. Here you can see that that is not happening. It is open-ended. We don't tell them the sequence in which they need to proceed. So it's all left to them. And remember, most of the time you will get to see that the experiment was not to the expectation, not to their prediction. We don't deduct any mark for that. As Thomas Edison said that there's no failure. There will be, you see that how 10,000 times it did not work. So we encourage that.
How do we take care of the differentiation? Like, a gifted child would do this kind of an activity in 5 minutes and do with it. So what does he do for the rest of the time?
He is actually given an extra worksheet. Actually,
It's a worksheet that he would be doing,
Yeah.
not an extra, practical.
No activity.
all based on the activity that they are doing, they get extra
Extra
worksheets.
worksheets are supplied.
And they are also
It's
given.
kept at one corner of the interactive science lab. They can go, if it is friction is the topic, there are questions based on that, they can go and sit and answer.
And so is the child who is, not so capable, according to him, the worksheets would be, or he would be scaffolded in doing so?
And peer tutoring, scaffolding and peer tutoring.
Okay, peer tutoring.
Yes.
How many students are there in the lab at one time?
No, actually, we said, because only half the class goes to the.
We have 2 facilities running simultaneously. Classes divided. The other half, I will tell you.
It is fitted in the timetable like that?
Yes.
That, 16 of them would go?
Correct.
And how many
In the-
periods in science, for science do you have, for this kind of a thing,
It comes only 6 times a term.
6 times?
3 times interactive science lab, 3 times the learning square. At the beginning of the year, to answer your question, at the beginning of the year, teachers sit together and plan for 3 things. Inquiry, critical thinking does not limit to science alone. So they may have identified few topics for independent learning. There is a vertical and horizontal integration. We decide these are the topics they will do in grade 5, these are the topics they will do in grade 6, 7 and 8. That is in the interactive science lab. Simultaneously, we will decide what are the topics given to them for independent learning in the learning square. So they are focused, they know that they are going to do work on that. Reference books will be brought from the library and kept for that particular period. There are computers there also. Everyone does independent work. And then there are tables given to answer a specific question. They come together and there is a collaborative presentation at the end of the lesson.
And there's a teacher observing on
It is independent learning. Teacher is there to monitor as a facilitator. Teacher never gets into their path until at the correct intervention, until they are present, and when things are going in the wrong direction, the teacher will intervene and then correct.
So 2 teachers are simultaneously.
Yes, there is a dedicated teacher for the interactive science lab who will be monitoring the timetable and movement. If suppose it was a holiday and they could not do it, then she is the one who is responsible to find a slot for these students to come and perform later. Whereas the teacher dedicated from the supervisor will accompany the students to the learning spots.
So the teacher in the lab remains in the lab itself, she is in charge of all the activities?
That will be a science teacher who is there. It need not be a science teacher who is there in
But
the
she
learning
is
spots.
positioned in the lab?
That's the teacher who is teaching them in the class as well as in the interactive science lab. Same teacher.
And the other children
There will be a
are taken
continuity.
by-
I will know that what I have told them in the class and now. Otherwise, if the teacher is a different one in the lab, we will not know the background.
And in the theory classes, the same thing has been explained
Explained.
to the student by the teacher.
Theory of that is being taught. For example, the component of oxygen in atmospheric air, the pie chart is drawn and then from there they know that it is 1/5. And here they
How
must.
do they initiate the children into doing this? How do the children, now suppose you finish the theory class in the class, now the children know the basics of the theory. Now it's the time for practical demonstration. The children are led into the interactive science.
We will
lab.
time this activity by looking at which period of time this will come up in theory. And maybe subsequently a week or two after that, they will go to interactive science lab to do that. So the theoretical background they have the foundation.
Exchange of again, the learning center children will go to the.
Correct. Next week it will come back.
Sorry to break the whole question and answer. Now we have to start the last session.
Thank you all.